Hello, friends, uh, fans, loyal audience, haters, dictators, uh, psychopaths, east, west alike, you're welcome. I have a very important point to make today. I read like a number of places that, and I don't know if that's real or not. Uh, could be, could be anything. But it does appear to be credible that Don Jr. said something uh, that he doesn't like it in Mar-a-Lago because Mar-a-Lago or whatever that name is, that his father's friends treat him like an imbecile. Oh, that raised my hair. Uh, it may appear to be benign and simple or fleeting moment of misunderstanding and griping and nobody loves me, but no, to me it's much deeper than that actually. Could be, not could be. But I would wager one whole cent and one half of the dollar, 1.5 cents of the dollar on this being true or real. I'll give you an example. Uh, Trump seemed throughout the campaign seemed to me as incoherent. There's something wrong with the guy, as if he's losing steam. I did comment on that. He's getting tired. He's blah blah. I mean, and one of my comments was, uh, if he's getting tired now, that's on Twitter. The White House affairs are much more difficult, right? And terse. Handling it requires more, better, stronger nerves. And, that's the comment I made. Not exact words, I don't recall what it was. However, and he's incoherent, I look at him when he stands, looks right and left, and then his, his magas around him, and it's just, and then his dances, right? His dances, it just doesn't make sense. I tried to make sense of it. I called it gloating. I called it, you know, uh, 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 trying to become looking like a god or something of the sort. But no, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the guy has lost a lot of mental energy because I look at him in the past and so on. I don't see that uh, 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 deep and strong foundation within him. You know, am I wrong? I don't think so. But he's being assessed by others, and whether they're his fans or his enemies, and those who want to benefit from him alike, they can probably make their own judgment. But my judgment is that the guy was drained emotionally and mentally, and I think still is. So that said, I now found this particular comment or hint by Don, his son, Don Jr., a little bit disturbing. And then I recall his children. I mean, I don't think his children are better off than he is when it comes to cognition and, power of cognition and right, or sturdiness of the soul, or you see what I'm saying? One day, I think that Don said that his father or whoever right, is the best president ever. I mean, that takes you aback, right? Like, what's this guy talking about, right? I mean, your father has already been there for 4 years, and we know what he did with his signature, like break the back of the country with 8.4 trillion, right? Much of which probably, I don't think there are trillions anymore, maybe numbers, virtual numbers, right? But that's meaningless. And much of that went to investors, right? Good portion of that went to investors all over the world, as a matter of fact. But now I look at those around him and I don't see innocence, talking about Musk and Elon Musk and, others as well. There's a whole club around him, right? Not just Elon, right? Elon Musk, right? And I do believe they know, and and of course his background with Putin and so on and so forth, right? His relationship to the East and Russia and so on. The guy is basically out of breath, right? Out of steam. I can clearly see that, right? And I always reasoned that he stayed in the race for a few reasons. One, he doesn't want to go to jail. Two, he wants to get some dollars like he did before. Three, he loves Russia. He wants Russia just to. And four, four out of many. This USA for him is just not acceptable anymore. But even though I still look, and I don't know if he really knows or noticed or not. Those club around him noticed that he's probably out of steam and so on, and they try to dance like him and spur him on, right? He's their investment. He is their investment to do. I liken him like Bashar Assad of Syria or the donkey, right? He did all that he did, and the guy is feeble, so he would stand like and laugh like a donkey, like if you watched his videos in the People's Assembly and so on, right? Where he laughs, and it's just the guys, just weird, man. And those guys usually carry out the will of those behind them who you cannot see, and they do all they do, right? The horrible things they do, right? And then at the end of the day, those who instigated them and controlled them, right? This kind, of course, is what I'm talking about. They just ditch them or abandon them or, put them into retirement somewhere and they say they're poisoned or dead or something of the sort. Now I'm looking again. If those guys, and I got this indicator, this very telling indicator, or, eye catching or ear catching, mind catching, note or hint from Don Jr. Like those who are there treat him like imbecile. So I get it like this. If this guy is still, Trump, if this guy is holding any more and being able to do any more things, they want to still, right now you look at him and the guy is almost motionless, right? From whatever little I see. But now I am thinking they still want to strike him further. How? Because it seems to me, at least in the from what I saw in the campaign on the campaign trail, watching whatever I watched, right, on here and there, is that he draws a lot of strength from his family, and now they want to introduce some real dysfunction into the family, something that he probably doesn't know, and those club around him, the Musk Club, began to do by doing so and so to Don Jr. And you may say, well, how relevant is that? Well, that may generate hostility between the father and son and other children as well. And if Trump now suffers some damage or stress or strain out of this family relationship, he may be just like a paper president, right? Sitting in the White House doing nothing. They come, I would bet money they would have copied his signature and they will just make his signature, or hold his hand like that, and sign for him, right? That's an evil bunch around him, right? Otherwise, why would you want to treat Don Jr. as an imbecile, right? And they're evil bunch, those around him, like the Elon and, whoever it is, and they're all the same, one and the same club, maybe not even humans, right? And I think I am seeing the guy, I do not know if that's what's going to happen, but I am suspecting they're going to present or introduce hostilities and as dysfunction and estrangement, right? Estrangement, right? When separation between family members and so on. So now he will be in melancholy, right? He will be in sadness. He will be in worries, loneliness and so on, and he will become whatever is left of him. He becomes ineffective anymore. He basically is really a buddy sitting on a chair in the White House. I think that's what they're trying to achieve, and that's an indicator. Those guys started already to put between the children and their father, and that will basically paralyze him, really. That will make him... If that's the case, then he reminds me. Now, we don't see those people or those creatures, right? From where, I don't know, from hell, whatever it is. We see one of them sitting next to him, standing next to him all the time, as if he's a guard dog, right? We don't know, but they're quite few, and they know how to function behind the scenes, right? Scheming and scamming, right? Right? So he, to me, if that's the case, then he looks like John Hurt or Winston laying down on the stretcher before O'Brien or Richard Burton. And he's being tortured, tortured, tortured. At the end, you'd see him, you'd see the look blank stare in his eye, right? Looking at O'Brien as if it's a dog. Now he's just basically, his brain no longer functions. He takes orders, right? That's all there's to it, right? So I do believe there's something to that. This is not an innocent or haphazard or of Don griping or complaining or yelping, whatever it is, about being treated as so-and-so in Mar-a-Lago. Well, if they treat you bad, that's your father's house, right? What do? You just kick him out, right? Right before your father, right? And that's all I'm saying. Now, I want to make another comment here, additional comment about those two terrorist attacks, one in Las Vegas and one in New Orleans. I can tell you this, folks. It's very obvious the guys have nothing to do with Islam or Muslims or whatever it is, but it's being trumped up in the media and beaten about and so on, that there's like ISIS, blah 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 blah. I don't see that really. The other thing I want to say is, looking at it all together from the evidence that we see, I think these are orchestrated or fake or something of the sort. I take an oath by Allah. And you may take an offense or not believe. Why is he taking an oath by Allah? Truthful or not? Well, if you want someone to be truthful, you ask them to swear or take an oath by their own God, the one they worship, right? And that's what I'm doing. So I do believe there is something, just for me, looking at it, just doesn't sound right about both operations or both terrorist acts, right? The one in New Orleans and the one in Las Vegas, and as if they're trying to prepare for something. Or if they're real, then I would say they're probably freaking surprised, at least about the one in Las Vegas. But to me, it sounds like that assassination attempt on Trump in what is it, Butler, Pennsylvania. And I explained to you on the screen, the line of sight and so on and so forth. Everybody knows this is this is something fake about this, right? And that Saudi German guy, ramming and killing and with his car and so on, and they tried to cover up for him. Why? Because he's got a goatee, right? Those goatees of Arabia. Oof. Them and Musk are hand in hand. Anyways, so that's what I wanted to say. I really kid you not. I really am sensing there is another wave of psychological torment and damage that is that these guys, the Musk and so on, are gonna hit Trump with. And look, this guy. I mean, I would joke, right? Like Gene Wilder and what's his name, Letterman or something. And like his eyes are one blue this way and one blue this way. And he's like his head is next to Gene Wilder's in Young Frankenstein. But that's joking, right? However, now I am looking at Musk and see that he's not even leaving his side, right? I mean, he is next to him 100% of the time. So all things like that are looking to me, are looking pretty suspicious to me. And I think there is heavy-handed control around the guy, heavy-handed control around the guy. And Putin is monitoring the situation 1 minute by 1 minute. And to me, it sounds like, you're the president, right? I mean, look at Biden. Sure, Biden got help, and before him, Clinton and John Kennedy. Yeah, sure, you got consultation, you got secretaries, you got advisors, and so on. But at the end of the day, they're the ones who are making those decisions, right? Yeah, sometimes they listen to their advisors and take that decision, so on. But you can clearly see they're in charge. They're holding the reins of the horse, right? They're riding, right? So they're holding the rein of the horse, right? So meaningly, and we've seen it during Biden and during Clinton's time and uh, uh, during JFK's time, right? Well, I was basically just born or something of the sort. But reading and seeing, it's very clear the guy was in charge, right? Now you may say Bush wasn't in charge. No, no. Bush the father revived the Soviet Union for no reason, without any conditions attached at all. He intended to raise it back again and raise communism and Lenin and Stalin and so on. And look at it, like menacing Europe and headed by a psychopath who wants to wipe out those Anglo-Saxons and as much as he wants to wipe out those Arabs and so on. So yeah, I mean, to me, it sounds like the guy is silently and with being hurt around and being driven around and being, he's like John Hurt, right? He loves the big brother. This is not far-fetched from what I heard. Like those guys at your father's place and you're the oldest son and they treat you like imbecile. I mean, it hit me yesterday, like why are they doing that to him? So I got it, like this is a further attempt on, and you know what? His wife, Melania, I think, notice how she treats him, right? So he's under pressure. They're really, really coercing the guy into doing, I mean, they're really dementing him, right? They're really unnerving him, dementing him. And right now, from when he stands, because he has nothing to say, he starts like doing the dance, right? That's all I have to say. The rest, you have the rest. Joby, I kid you not, man. Uh, Something's not right about what's going on. There's a posse that's hidden, gonna go riding over Trump like a freaking mule, right? And they're going to do bad things to this country. Uh, have a nice day. My 2 cents. Bye bye.